Time for Nikolaus Starzacher of Discovergy. Welcome back to Ecosummit. Okay.
Yeah, I'm very happy to be back here. I've been to, I think this is my 5th Ecosummit. I was here from the very first one on. So basically, my name is Nikolaus Starzacher. I'm the founder and CEO of Discovergy. We are a German smart meter operator, and I'll tell in a second what this is all about. When we set out, we thought, what can we do as a startup to help people reduce their carbon footprint, their carbon emissions, and also each of you as a private electricity consumer knows that every once in a while you get your electricity bill, and usually before you didn't have a clue how much you consumed, and usually you have a big surprise and are a little bit pissed off. And we thought we can contribute to the solution of those two problems. And in a way, what we are now doing is everybody's talking about the Energiewende, and we provide some of the technology really to enable the Energiewende to happen. So how do we do that? If someone, either as a residential customer or as a business, becomes a customer of ours, they basically get a smart meter from us. So basically they register through the website, they order it through the website, and a couple of weeks later, a friendly electrician will ring their bell, have our digital meter, that's what it looks like, under the arm, build out the utilities meter, replace it with our digital meter, and usually wire it up to the existing broadband connection of the customer. And we can do this, alternatively, we can do it through machine-to-machine, through GSM. So in 100% of the cases, we are able to get the smart meter data onto our servers. And what's kind of special about our product is that we really exploit the capability of this technology. So we take a measurement basically every second of your electricity consumption, and we transmit this in real time in this granularity to our servers. And you might wonder, why the heck would anybody want to do that? And especially when we speak to utilities who capture data once a year or at most once a day on a 15-minute interval level, they think like, why would anybody want to do that? But the point is that once you have data in this granularity, you're really able to get a lot of extra insights that you couldn't get in any other way. So we are able to extract or deduce how much of the consumption is made up of individual appliances. And really, if you think about it, if you don't have a good resolution, then you're not able to see a lot of things. And just to give you one figure, so up to this day, we have over 60 billion, and I hope I get the millions, billions, at least that's a number, of unique measurements that we've collected amongst our customer base to date. And that's, of course, a very, very powerful data set to tweak algorithms, to gain insights, to help our customers save electricity, save money, and so on. And of course, collecting this data is no end in itself, but we do it to help our customers understand what actions can they take to reduce their consumption and hence their spend. So we give them recommendations or give them the insights to realize it's time to replace a light bulb or buy a new fridge or maybe change some behavior. We also are able to see, or our customers are able to see through our tools, if they have any consumption that shouldn't be there. Is the base load too high? Did they forget to switch off a light somewhere, etc.? And of course, what's also helpful is you need to put this information into perspective. So how do you compare to similar households? How do you compare to your consumption in the past, etc.? So all those are tools that we're able to provide to our customers. And something that we didn't think about when we started out is that another benefit is really also to have the peace of mind, like we never had this in our initial business plan, that the customers who are like 80 years plus, live on their own, we were just blind for them. But in fact, that's another good use case where you have old people live on their own, and you can use a smart meter to see, to track, is everything in order? Did something happen? Should a relative or a caretaker look around? And if you think of how cheap a smart meter is compared to the value, to the added value that it can provide in this use case, then that's really quite fantastic. And it shows that the potential of this technology is really very, very close to potentially 100% of the market of meters. Now, of course, any business exists to make money in the end. So what is our business model? Basically, it is very similar to an ISP, to a subscription model. So each customer, every customer of ours pays an annual fee. In this case, it's 60 euros per year, which is about 40 euros more than they would pay normally for a dumb meter. And the value proposition really is that we help our customers to save a lot more money than that our service costs. And in fact, the typical user is very easily able to save 10% and more of their electricity bill. So if you have an average electricity consumption, which is about 1,000 euros in Germany, you break even easily. And of course, if your consumption is higher, then your break even is even better. And having all this data, we of course can tap into auxiliary revenue streams later. One thing is that we can give recommendations, what is the best energy provider for you, and earn commissions from the suppliers. And we can of course also tell you, or when we tell you, go and get a new fridge, then of course the manufacturers or the retailers, they might be motivated to give us an incentive for the lead generation that we provide. What makes us stand out relative to potential competitors is primarily, if you think about who should be our competitors, then it's the utilities. But the utilities really have no incentive whatsoever to educate their customers on where they're wasting energy. Yeah? So we are in the very, very lucky position that the people who have the know-how, who have the customer contact and the ability to be our competitors, don't really want to play. And also, the business model is relatively complex. So the barrier to entry for a lot of other people to do the very same thing is very high. So we are in a fairly unique space. We are very far ahead on the learning curve. And of course, now the challenge is to go from thousands of meters that we have today, to scale it up to tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, and eventually millions of meters. What works for electricity eventually, of course, also works for gas, for heating, for water. And we don't want to constrain ourselves just to the German market in the long term, but for the time being, there's plenty of things to do there. I'm very quickly going to give you some glances on what the product looks from an end consumer perspective. So if you, for example, have a photovoltaics a solar installation on your rooftop, then we can help you to see how much do you produce, how much do you consume, and we help you shift your consumption into the time when you produce your own cheap electricity. We have a lot of fancy tools to get further insights from the data. Here you see like a typical family that they get up sometime in the morning and then they go out for work, the kids go to school, they come back in the evening, and at night everybody's sleeping again. And if Jan lets me, I will answer two questions that you guys might have. Is if I said I want to go from a couple of thousands meters that we have today to millions of meters, then you might wonder, how are we going to do that? In fact, that's the question that Jan asked me a couple of days ago when I said I'd like to come here. And this is a fantastic slide I found from someone where he basically answers the question, what do you need to do if you want to do a 100 million revenue business? Yeah? Either you go after small customers, then you need tens of thousands of them or even millions of them if each of them gives you just a couple of euros of revenue. Or, of course, you could also go, say, a white label strategy and go after just a couple of very, very big accounts. And if you translate this onto our business model, so the question for us is, how do we get to 1 million meters? How do we get to 1 million end customers? And of course, we can attract individual households, but then we really need to get 1 million of them. We can go after businesses, then usually they need a couple of meters each, then the number is less. Or we can, of course, also go after big utilities as a partner. And the classical utilities, that is quite difficult. Yeah, they're not there yet. But the eco utilities, they are very, very open to this. And in fact, we are already cooperating with a few of them. And then you have got a lot of things in the middle. You've got like retail chains, which have hundreds of thousands of shops, which can all benefit from getting energy insights, optimizing the consumption, etc. And also the housing industry is a very, very interesting multiplier for us. And in fact, for each of the things on this picture, we do have customers in those sectors, but we still need to really scale it up now to get to the numbers where we want to be. And yeah, this is our core team. Bernhard, our new CFO, is here with me. Some of you we've spoken to already, and to allow some time maybe for questions, I'll finish here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nikolaus. Do you have a question for Nikolaus? Robert, you need a microphone? Yes.
How much are you wanting to raise?
Oh,
and when?
yeah, sorry, in the rush of everything. So now we want to raise really 5 million euros. Half of that for, cover the time until we break even, and the other half because deploying the meters is a bit capital intensive, and we need to bridge the time until we can go to off-balance financing of the meters.
All right. We cross our fingers for you.
Thank you very much.